And truly, it's win or go home for one of these teams tonight. But the Miami Heat enjoying a 41-31 lead in the 7th game of this first round matchup. And of course, Craig is going to have a report shortly on Baron Davis, but he hasn't done anything. The other All-Star, Jamal Magloire, Zippo as well. And in their most important game, the Miami Heat have come up big in the first half defensively.
They have come up huge, and they have a number of interesting statistics on their side. And number 1 would be fast break points. Number 2, points in the paint. Number 3, turnovers. They've done everything they could possibly do to really get this game going. But the Hornets still within 10. And look at this, shocking. They haven't been to the foul line. They have no second chance points. They have no fast break points. The only reason they're in this game is Mr. Steve Smith. So thank God for him.
Yeah, in our Jeep game summary, you'd think the game hadn't started with all those zeros there. And tonight's Gatorade X Factor, well, you got to give him his due. He's kept the Hornets in the game, Steve Smith.
Pretty easy choice here. 13 points. Remember, this guy played 19 total minutes in games 1 through 6. Tim Floyd went to him early, and you know, with Miami continuing to jump out at Baron Davis, take the ball out of his hands, Steve Smith and others are going to be open. Smith taking advantage of those open shots in the first half, personally keeping the team in the game.
Baron Davis 2 for 7, 5 points, and for a report went to the locker room before intermission. Here's Craig Sager.
Well, Dick, the official word on Baron Davis is he has a bruised tailbone and he is doubtful to return in this game. However, I have been back there in the locker room. Right now, he is hooked up to a high-volt therapy machine, getting stimulation, deep massages on his back. Now, we know he can play in pain. That's not the problem. The problem is his back has started to spasm, and he has back spasms. Dr. Trevor Hoffman from the Hornets says he will not let him return unless those spasms go away. So they're putting extreme treatment on it, also a lot of ice and a lot of stress.
Davis, where do the Hornets go from here, Steve?
Well, they've got to rely on this guy with the ball, Darrell Armstrong, who has plenty of playoff experience but has not shot the ball really well. The big thing is they have to take care of the ball and just play their style, and the first thing that happens is another turnover.
And the 2 for 1 breaks down as Eddie Jones bobbled it out on the perimeter. Here is Odom going in. That's his style, and the ball knocked away, claiming a foul. But here is a 3-on-2. Wesley driving to the basket, and the reach-in foul is called. And the Miami Heat foul called against Eddie Jones. That'll be his first foul.
Well, without Baron Davis, they've got to get 2 people involved. Number 1 is Jamal Magloire. This guy is an all-star this season. In 20 minutes of play, he was 1 for 3 shooting. The other guy is David Wesley, another double-digit scorer, an excellent shooter, 1 for 4 in 18 minutes. So they've got to find a way to get these guys involved.
Starters were 7 for 24 for the Hornets in the shooting department. And their spacing isn't anything to brag about. The ball out of bounds, last touch by the Heat. And if the Heat are able to really trap and stay with their man because the spacing doesn't look very impressive out there.
Well, their strength defensively is their speed and quickness. And you saw right there, they doubled down on Magloire and then recovered quickly on the pass out to the perimeter. That's their style.
David Wesley, Lynch outnumbered trying to fight for the offensive rebound. The Heat, with a great edge, have limited the Hornets to only 3 offensive boards in the first half. Here is Brian Grant, blocked by P.J. Brown. And the Hornets, not a quick team. And losing the ball is Darrell Armstrong to Caron Butler. So the turnovers killing this team, 12 in the game for New Orleans. And Lamar Odom hitting a 3-pointer. Odom now with 8 points. So he has come back after what he called a bad game in Game 6. And the lead is 13.
5-point swing, Dick. If Armstrong can finish that play and get the layup, they're within 8. Instead, the turnover leads to the 3. It's 13 again.
And the 3-point attempt from the corner by Wesley is deflected out of bounds. And it's last touched by the Heat.
How about the block by P.J. Brown? Brian Grant going strong to the hoop, but Brown with those long arms denying him the bucket.
P.J. Brown, who has been a part of a losing deciding game against the Knicks on 3 occasions while he was a member of the Miami Heat. Trying to get it to Magloire. Grant, good defender. Magloire facing the basket and hits. Only the 2nd field goal for Jamal Magloire.
Well, Grant has done an excellent job on him in this series, but It's up to McGlure to take some initiative here offensively, especially without Baron Davis. He's got to get after it, decide, look, I'm going to get some shots up, I'm going to attack the rim.
Like Wade does.
That's exactly right.
Wade with 6.
And Miami, again, in the attack mode that has really gotten them this lead.
13-point lead for the Miami Heat. Winner will face the Indiana Pacers Thursday on TNT at 9 p.m. Game 1, and the offensive foul. And another turnover, and that one is charged to Darrell Armstrong. And Baron Davis unwrapping over at the scorer's table. Will come into the game, bruised tailbone and all. Your calculations are on the money.
I added that up quickly in my head.
11-point lead for the Miami Heat. So the Hornets stay in town. Biggest lead was 15. Good ball movement and the field goal by Caron Butler. 19 for Butler. He led the Heat with a 24-point effort in Game 3 in New Orleans.
When we talked at the outset, Dick, the importance of just a couple of guys stepping up and making shots. Certainly Caron Butler has done so. So has Rafer Alston.
George Lynch in the lane. And Lynch hitting the bucket. He hit the first field goal of the game for the Heat and now gets his second, again, an 11-point game.
Amazing. With all this said, it's still 11. And just a few possessions away for the Hornets of really getting back into this thing. And they've got to make stops.
Well, they got to stop Caron Butler, that's for sure. 21 points for Butler. And next to him would be Wade with 6. Butler shooting 60% from the field. And keeping the Hornets at bay. It's again a 13-point lead.
Came into this game shooting about 38% during the series. Another turnover for the Hornets.
And Wade gets fouled by Wesley as P.J. Brown lost the ball. A lot of those turnovers are coming right in the open court.
They are, and they're leading to shots like this from Caron Butler, who has just come up huge, Dick. I mean, you cannot overstate the contribution this guy made. Remember, right from the outset, 2 quick jump shots that set the tone early, and Butler has carried it through since then.
Baron Davis hobbling to the bench, gets a pat on the back from Tim Floyd. First free throw by Wade. Here's Craig.
Well, I don't know about that was a pat on the back. I know his back is hurting awfully much here. What happened was the previous play down the court, Tim Floyd called a play. Baron Davis said, "Coach, I can't run that." He says, "Well, then you're coming out of the game." And Baron says, "No, I'm not. I'm staying in." Well, then obviously Tim Floyd said, "No, he's got to come out," and he put Darrell Armstrong in. Now they sent Baron Davis back to the locker room. So he did not want to come out, but Coach Floyd obviously saw that it was not being effective.
A very light pat on the lower back, I might add. Very demoralizing situation for the Hornets to lose their best player. Jamal McLeod double team. Armstrong with a runner from the baseline hitting. And as you mentioned, they're going to need Darrell. You mentioned Darrell Armstrong, but who else can give him some offense?
Well, maybe this guy who just got in, David West, with the beautiful left-handed finish and nice execution out of the timeout by New Orleans.
And West foul will go to the line, and the personal foul is on Udonis Haslem, his second. Got more on Baron Davis. Here's Craig.
Well, Dick, it's not only the bruised elbow, but again, it is the back spasms that are bothering Baron Davis the most. Right now, he's back to Dr. Trevor Hoffman. They're doing whatever they can, trying to keep it warm, massage, stretch, keep it loose, keep Baron Davis moving. They'll deal with the injury after the game, but they're trying to keep him going right now to try to somehow get him back in. Now, back spasms can be caused from a twist, also from a fall, or possibly even an elbow. We saw it was when he fell down on the back. He's trying to get moving, trying to get back in, but right now, again, they're saying doubtful.
Tell you what, Trevor Hoffman's a pretty talented guy. He pitches for the Padres, and he's the team doctor for Miami. That's impressive.
Well, you know, he's a closer, and right now he's a closer in the locker room.
I'm surprised the Padres let him out of a couple of games here.
This is Game 7.
That's
this
true.
is Game 7.
It is Game 7.
You know, it's not
right.
one of 162. This is Game 7 now. And a foul away from the ball.
Well, that's how he got hurt. Remember, taking the charge in the court vision. He's a very impressive young player.
And Brian Grant with a defensive play. And here is Odom again. Odom going up. Offensive rebound, Brian Grant, and he's fouled. The Heat relentless on the boards tonight. And when all is said and done, their defensive play forcing turnovers and rebounding may be the recipe to their win. Grant with a hand, 7 points and 8 rebounds, and the crowd here in American Airlines Arena loving it.
Well, the numbers not great for Brian Grant, but his energy, his hustle, his defense, his rebounding have been key tonight.
Watch the finals this June on ABC.
The leading scorer, one of the best players in the league, gone for the night for the Hornets. Brian Grant fighting inside, getting the basket. The Hornets had cut the deficit to 8 points. Now it is up to 12 in the opening seconds of the fourth quarter.
Good penetration by Rafer Alston, who has played extremely well here tonight. Leads to the feed to Grant. Easy bucket underneath.
And here is David West off the glass. And Alston, who has played quality minutes tonight and has played well. Miami Heat coming out big, and Darrell Armstrong knocking the ball away. Last touch by Armstrong. Nearly a minute gone by. Here's DWade. 3 on the shot clock. Alston with a long 3. And coming out for the Hornets, Steve Smith, P.J. Brown, Darrell Armstrong, David West, and David Wesley, who has not been able to find the mark tonight out of bounds. Wesley 1 for 10 from the field.
Well, the problem the Hornets are having now is they're so used to Baron Davis creating all of their offense. Remember, they would just give him the ball pretty much on every possession, run screen and rolls, let him create. Now all of a sudden, they're not accustomed to playing without him, and they're just trying to find other people to score.
And the Miami Heat leading all the way after be playing with a world of confidence right now. Here at home, trying to finish off the Hornets. Very loose are they, as Lamar Odom is in double figures, and he has come back tremendously from his off game. Game 6.
I think he's played a very nice game here, very controlled, only taken 7 shots, but he's got 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 10 points, and really controlled the flow of this game with his ball handling.
Good hustle by Caron Butler trying to save it for the Heat. It'll still remain New Orleans ball, but this crowd enjoying it tonight here at the American Airlines Arena, as the home team has won every game of the 6 previous games in this series, as Stacey Augmon enters the game, and David Wesley will go out, and trying to make it 7 in a row for the home club.
And don't forget the Hornets also without Jamal Mashburn, who spent a good portion of the season on the injured list and was not put on the playoff roster. And obviously he's a big game shooter, a guy who's meant a lot to this team over the years. So they are extremely depleted at this point, and they're in some trouble here.
Jamal McLaurin back in. Now it's a mix and match situation for Tim Floyd, trying to stay in contention here. The trap on Darrell Armstrong. Down low to McLaurin. There you go, Kevin. And it goes through McLaurin, and they haven't had much from him tonight. 6 points for Jamal McLaurin.
I tell you, I'm impressed with David West. You know, he made an excellent decision there. You don't often see a rookie at that size able to take the ball in the basket, make a jump stop, nice little bounce pass. He's showing me a lot here.
Odom has 2. Odom with 12 points in the game.
So are the Kings, you know, with Bobby Jackson and
Drew.
So it'll be very interesting. But you know, the Timberwolves impressed me in round 1 versus Denver. They defend much better than Sacramento. So it'll be interesting.
Statistician, one of the great historians of all of sports and basketballs, reminds us that these 2 franchises entered the NBA the same year back in 1988. Hornets, of course, were in Charlotte, and Miami trying to hold off the rush by the Hornets and advance to the next round. Where would the Hornets be tonight without Steve Smith, Steve?
No, he'd be down by, well, let's see, about 28.
To be exact.
If you want to put it that way. He's been terrific. And, you know, again, only 19 minutes played the first 6 games.
Took me literally, didn't you?
I did. I thought you were asking for that.
Coming up next, Kings and Timberwolves, but this game with under 5 minutes remaining.
How about the versatility of Lamar Odom? They've converted him now to point guard to take away the pressure of the New Orleans Hornets.
Reach-in foul by George Lynch, only the 2nd team foul against New Orleans. And there you see the Hornets with 2 fouls to give. They just committed 1 of them, and each team with a full timeout and a 20. So an 8-point game, that's a 3-possession game right now.
We've kind of been saying that all night. Now let's see if they can make a stop and another score really when it counts. They haven't been able to get over that hump yet.
DWade out of the double team. Here's Odom for three. Long rebound, and Caron Butler swoops it in. Miami scoreless in the last 4 minutes.
Finally make a stop, and you can't get the rebound. That'd be so frustrating.
Eddie Jones off the screen looking for room, and PJ Brown is put in by Odom. Odom with 14 points, and remember, he's playing with 5 fouls, and the lead is up to 10.
With the most crucial possession of the game, Dick, Miami ends up with 3 shots at the rim, finally getting the third one to go with Lamar Odom.
Shammond Williams and the reverse lay-in by George Lynch. Again, it's an 8-point game, and pressure in the backcourt by the Hornets, but Lamar Odom bringing it in. Brian Grant, and he is fouled. Still no penalty.
A huge play here by Lamar Odom, who has really done it in all areas of the game tonight. He'll tip in here, the 3rd attempt in the possession. And that's a killer if you're New Orleans. PJ Brown had pretty good position, but Lamar Odom comes from the strong side, actually, and ends up with the offensive tip.
Rafer Alston has come into the game. He has 7 points off the bench and 6 rebounds. He has made a huge contribution off the bench for the Heat.
They brought him in for an extra ball handler. The Heat have struggled with New Orleans' defensive pressure here a little bit the last few minutes, so now you've got basically 4 guys who could bring the ball up the floor. They'll just choose the easiest matchup, have that guy bring the ball up, and go from there.
4th team foul as David Wesley commits the foul, so the next foul called on New Orleans will be the penalty as Wade is short with the jumper. And here is Shammond Williams, former Seattle Sonic. Quick shot and a three again. 5 threes by Steve Smith, and the lead is down to 5.
Well, they finally got the one they needed, Dick. They've been around 7, 8 a couple of times, but now finally they cut it
to a 2-possession game, and 23 points for Steve Smith as we get close to 3 minutes to go, and this crowd a bit anxious. And here's Brian Grant driving in. Basket counts and a foul. A big one for the Heat. Very steady Brian Grant, who knows what a Game 7 is all about when he played for the Trailblazers.
Well, how about the decision by DWade, getting into the lane with penetration, drawing the defense, and then Shammond Williams trying to take the foul. Brian Grant just too big and too strong for Williams. Big basket for Miami.
And the reaction of the Heat bench. And DWade with his 7th assist of the game. Grant misses the free throw. 75-68, under 3 minutes remaining in regulation. PJ Brown open hitting, and it's 75-70, and the New Orleans Hornets won't go away. This is a truly courageous effort without their star guard, Baron Davis, who's out. Played only 3 minutes in the second half, 20 in the game with back spasms and a tailbone injury.
Well, they're desperate, so they're just playing loose now. They can, all of a sudden, the shots are a little easier to make when you're just letting it fly.
Letting it fly was Lamar Odom with 16 points, and he has made several key baskets when the Hornets were closing in. Williams underneath. Lynch. Great defense inside by the Miami Heat, and the ball out of bounds, and the foul is called against the Hornets, and a penalty situation.
How about the play tonight of Lamar Odom doing it all on the penetration there with a nice finish, that little scoop with the left hand, and he has been terrific. Just his all-around game, not just his scoring. He's 7 for 11 shooting, so excellent.
Neither team has a foul to give spasms and the bruised tailbone. This is a big stop situation for New Orleans as they trap Alston in the backcourt. Here's DWade losing the ball, and the Heat getting it back. Big sequence right there. Alston out of bounds, no. Saved by Eddie Jones. Misses the shot as the buzzer was going off.
19 seconds on the shot clock. Why would he shoot that?
And Shammond Williams taking an early shot. Offensive rebound by
Steve Smith.
Steve Smith. Not this time. Crowd breathes. Breathes easy. easy as Steve Smith misses the three.
My goodness.
And a foul called with 42-4. What a frenzied last 40 seconds of action.
What is Eddie Jones thinking about? I think maybe he thought there wasn't time on the shot clock. Takes an ill-advised three-pointer with 19 seconds on the shot clock. It leads to this, and Smith, who's been knocking them down all night, can't get this one to go. You have to question whether or not he's...
By the New Orleans Hornets without Baron Davis, leading 83-75, and finally this crowd can breathe easy. The Heat will win its 16th in a row at home, and by virtue of a one-game advantage in the regular season, they have the home court advantage in this series. They win 4 home games. Hornets win 3 home games, and that's all she wrote, and Miami moves on.
And one of the things that a lot of NBA coaches and players will tell you when you ask them, is home court advantage important? It is in Game 7. Now, maybe not in those first 6, but when you get to that Game 7 situation, it becomes even more important, as evidenced by the statistic we showed early in the game. 70 out of the 85 Game 7s in NBA history have been won by the home team.
And of course, you wonder about the regular season. They missed both free throws, and the final timeout at 22nd called by the Hornets.
Now, this is how the Heat got DWade open. You see, when you're in a scramble situation like that, everybody's looking for the guy to foul. So right there, both guys go at Rafer Alston, which leaves DWade.
And that'll do it. The Miami Heat, no one gave them a chance in March of making the playoffs, and now they move to the second round as Miami wins all its 4 home games and defeat